Hello, students, and welcome to class. Today we are in the Punjab, a region of India, which we're going to be learning about. And we are at the sacred center of the Sikh world, sometimes referred to as the Golden Temple. Well, and that is how we're going to be wrapping up this online class. This is our final religion of South Asia, and that is Sikhism. Let's take a look. All right, so far in class, we have looked at Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Islam, and now we're going to round it up with the new kid on the block, the youngest of all South Asian religions we've studied, and that is the religion of Sikhism. Let's go ahead and take a look here. All right, so Sikhism, and let's just take a look at some of the images. These are Sikhs throughout India, many of which are around the sacred site of the Golden Temple. And the Sikhs have a very distinct look to them, the beard, the turban, and we're going to learn more about these physical appearances. While the Sikhs are a global population, most are in this region of India called the Punjab. And so the Sikh population is roughly 27 million people worldwide. It arises around the 15th century in India, and it's the youngest major South Asian religion of all these religions that are associated with this region of the world, the Indian subcontinent. Sikhism is the youngest, the newest of the religions. And although you find Sikhs all over the world, a lot of it is situated and grounded in this one particular region, the region that is of India called the Punjab. So we can talk about the cultural contributions to South Asia. Sikhism will bring a rich Punjabi literature, music, and film. In terms of economics, Sikhs will be very important in agriculture, trade, and commerce. And many members of the armed services in India are members of the Sikh population. And Sikhism has this notion of using martial means to defend the innocent, to protect others. Recently, I read an article where there was some Hindu-Muslim tensions, and the Muslims were facing some danger from some mob violence while they were praying. So the Sikhs show up and they're armed, and they say, they tell their Muslims, you are our brothers, pray, do your prayers, we'll protect you. So Sikhism has a strong sense of developing a warrior mentality, warrior prowess for the sake of protecting and benefiting others. Now let's take a look at some of the key beliefs of the Sikhs. The Sikhs believe that there are 10 gurus. So we've seen the guru-disciple relationship again and again. Sikhs believe there are 10 divinely inspired gurus. The Sikhs will also, similar to Islam, posit one God. And that one God is sometimes called Vahiguru, Waheguru, Hari, Brahman. The Sikhs, like we saw in the Bhakti traditions, like we learned about with Sufism, have a tradition of reciting the names of the divine, with this idea that by reciting the names of the divine, one's consciousness becomes closer to the divine. The Sikhs do not believe in a caste system. So this is a caste list, at least in principle, there is no caste. The Sikhs, although they believe in one God, like in Islam, Like the other South Asian religions that we've studied in this class, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, the Sikhs believe in reincarnation and karma. So reincarnation and karma is possible in Sikhism. The ideal of Sikhism is, so we learned about different spiritual ideals. We learned about in Jainism, Siddha Shila, the divine abodes where one go, the liberated souls, the liberated jiva will go. In Hinduism, we learned about this concept of moksha or release from cyclic existence of freedom. In Buddhism, we saw this notion of nirvana. And in the Sufi branch of Islam, we learned about this notion of this divine oneness with God, this concept of fana and baka, where the individual identity is eradicated in this encounter with God, and one feels God's presence forever throughout one's existence. Well, all of these higher experiences. In Sikhism, we have this notion of mukti, a state of eternal oneness with God. Salvation is given through the grace of God, although human actions are also important. The Sikhs do not have a renouncer tradition, and the Sikhs have a strong emphasis on family life, having a family and being engaged in society. The Sikhs are very much into service to humanity. And so during times of crisis, like a natural disaster or flood, the Sikhs will often be there to offer food, shelter, assistance. All right, and the Sikh origins. Sikhs follow the teachings of 10 divine gurus. The first, so 10 human gurus. The first guru, his name is Guru Nanak. After the 10 human gurus, an 11th guru that is a not human emerges as the teacher for the Sikh community. Who is this 10th? Who is this 11th sacred eternal guru? That is the main religious text of the religion. You see the Sri Guru Granth Sahib or the Adi Granth. These are both the names of the text. In the absence of the 10 human gurus, it is this sacred text that is the main guru, the main teacher. So again, Guru Nanak, this is a depiction here. He is the founder of the religion. And around age 30, he experiences God while bathing. And God gives him divine nectar, a sacred substance called Amrit. And we've seen divine beverages also in Hinduism, this notion of Soma. And a mission. Guru Nanak must spread the teachings of this one true God. And he must spread these teachings through an awareness of the different names of the divine. This is something we see very common in the Bhakti traditions of Hinduism, the Sufi traditions of Islam, and in Sikhism, reciting the names of God. And we call this recitation, these sacred divine sounds, mantras. And in Sikhism, the main mantra is the Mool Mantra. And here is the Mool Mantra. The Mool Mantra is this mantra is the main confession of faith of the Sikh religion. And it says, there is one supreme being, the eternal reality. He is the creator without fear and devoid of enmity. He is immortal, never incarnated, self-existence, known by grace through the Guru, the eternal one from the beginning, through all time, present now, the everlasting reality. Okay, so we have some things here, some themes and ideas that we've seen in South Asian religions. Well, Sikhism is affirming that there's this one eternal divine principle, this notion, for example, that we saw in Brahman, symbolized by the Om in Hinduism. Sikhism, however, says that this being is never incarnated, meaning this notion of the avatar or the divine in human form is not affirmed. How does one know about this this supreme being? How does one know about God? It is through the grace of the guru. So the teachings of the guru are indispensable. And in the absence of the 10 major human gurus of Sikhism, it is the final holy book, the Adi Granth, that is the final guru. So a scripture. Just as in Islam, we have this notion of a final holy book, the Quran. In Sikhism, we have a final holy book that is the final teacher of of all beings. So here we can see a picture of 10 gurus and the 11th and final guru, which is the Adi Granth, the final holy book. So here we can see the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, the Adi Granth. And we can see here, this is the equivalent of the Sikh Om, the Ik Onkar, symbolizing the one God. Here we can see the book is honored and given a royal throne. And we can see a woman here reciting from the text. There are 4 notions of guru, and if anyone's wondering what these numbers are, these correspond to the signed readings I gave you from this week. So if you want more information on these, the 139 to 141, that's from the textbook readings. So God as the supreme guru. God is timeless, eternal, and the one guru forever. The teacher as the guru. And here are the 10 main human Sikh guru teachers. And there's a light of God vested within select teachers. Then you have the sacred scripture, the Adi Granth, as the final and living guru. This is the guru that will remain throughout history, throughout time. And there is a notion of the community as guru, as a community as a source of guidance. Nanak's teachings, remember Nanak is the first guru, and his teachings are believed to be found in the Adi Granth. And these teachings, again, will emphasize that God is one. And because God is one, humanity should also be one. There's an emphasis, no caste, no gender distinctions. And because we're all part of one divinity, we should treat others with ethical conduct, and we should work to better our society. And here's a quote from the Adi Granth. Ritual purification done 1,000,000 times may not purify the mind, nor may absorption in trance silence, however long and continuous. So here, in the very opening lines, it's repudiating this emphasis on ritual that we might see in some of the early Vedic religion, but also this notion of silence, the meditation traditions. Possession, and let's see here, the possession of the world will not quench the rage of greed and hunger. 100,000 feats of intellect will not bring liberation. So here the Sikhs are perhaps critiquing some of the other religions. Then it asks, how then is the truth to be obtained? How is the veil of illusion to be destroyed? Nanak says, through the obedience of the divine order which is written in your heart. So this notion that there is a divine being within all of us, and that being has its will written within us. And the Adi Granth will also put a strong emphasis on listening to the names of God. And it says, by listening to the word, the seeker becomes equal to Shiva, Brahma, and Indra. By listening to the word, the seeker becomes praiseworthy. By listening to the word, one learns the secrets of yoga. So again, all the different religions are being mentioned here that we've been studying. And in a way, that's sort of saying it's just a critique here, mostly of Hinduism. Saying that listening to the word of this sacred, listening to the sounds of the sacred scripture, hearing the names of the god, this is equivalent of Shiva, Brahma, Indra. It's equivalent to all the secrets of yoga. And he goes on to say, by listening to the word, one learns the wisdom of the Shastra, the Smriti, and the Veda. So if you listen to this one holy scripture, you listen to the names of God, all that stuff you find in Hinduism, this is equivalent. Nanak says, devotees find bliss by listening to the word. Sorrow and sin are destroyed. From listening, the truth, fulfillment, and knowledge. So we're having a strong emphasis on hearing this sacred scripture recited out loud, and hearing is a religious practice, and everybody can hear. Right. You can pause the video here and read more through this, but I'm going to go ahead and skip this section for the sake of time, but we're going to see more and more ways in which the Sikhism is responding to other religions. And let's just look at the last line here. Caste and status are futile. So Sikhism has this repudiation of caste. For the one watches over all. This one supreme God watches over everyone. So who cares about caste and status? Some of the key teachings include seva. This is volunteer service. And you can see here during a flood, a member of the Sikh community is offering food. The langar, which I've been to one of these, this is a community kitchen for all to eat together. So no caste, no religious differences, no gender, no fees. Everybody can come into these Sikh kitchens and eat and enjoy together the food. The main religious building of Sikhism is called the Gurdwara. And what's unique about the Gurdwara is it often has 4 doors. And it's said to be the doors to the Guru. And who is the Guru? It is the living scripture. So this is a Sikh house of wisdom with 4 doors, indicating that you can come from all directions and everyone is welcome. Here we can see the Golden Temple in the city of Amritsar, and you have a discussion board assignment where you're going to watch a documentary on this structure. All right, a key turning point is the time of the 5th Guru, and this is Guru Arjan Dev. And he compiles the Adi Granth Sahib based on the teachings of the 1st Guru. He will commission the building of the Golden Temple. And the Sikhs will actually enter into military conflict with the Mughals. He is charged with treason and he's tortured to death. In response to this event, the Sikh community, who will also then around this time begin to see increasing tensions with Hindu kings, will develop sort of a martial warrior identity. And it's the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, who incorporates a very important idea in Sikhism. He's the last human guru. He's going to have tensions with Mughals and Hindu kings. And you can see this on page 136 and 156 of your readings. He develops an idea of a spiritual community. We saw this notion of a spiritual community in Islam with the Ummah. We saw this notion of a spiritual community in Buddhism with the Sangha. Here we have this notion of a community called the Khalsa. And the Khalsa is distinguished. And remember, going back to the beginning slide, we talked about this unique look. So these are the 5 Ks, the 5 articles of faith that are worn by those who are initiated. So pages 137 and 145 of your readings talks about an initiation ceremony where those who are being initiated are going to drink an amrit, an elixir-like drink, often with saffron and some sugar and some water mixed with a knife. To drink this within an official ceremony is to become a member of the Sikh Khalsa. Not all Sikhs are part of the Khalsa, and that's important to know. But those who will be initiated within the Khalsa have certain obligations associated with the 5 Ks. And our number 1 K is the uncut hair. Sikhs who are initiated will often not cut their will not shave their beards or cut their hair. So the shaving or cutting of hair is a sin so long as one has been initiated. And I want to again emphasize that not all Sikhs are initiated. The kesh symbolizes purity, devotion, and loyalty to the faith, respect for what is God given. Now, also a marker of Sikh identity, this isn't one of the 5 Ks, is a dastar, a turban, which is often worn on top of the head, and this is a symbol of royalty and dignity. The 2nd K is the kanga. This is the wooden comb, often worn underneath the turban, and this represents cleanliness and a clean body, clean life, and clean mind. And one must at least comb the hair twice a day. The 3rd is the kirpan, the steel dagger. And let's take a look at what's said about this. This is Guru Arjan Dev, one of the Sikh gurus. To forsake pride, emotional attachment, and the sense of mine and yours is the path of the double-edged sword. So cutting through attachment, cutting through the ego, that's what this knife represents. Those who were initiated will carry this knife with them. And from the Guru, this is the next verse, I have obtained the supremely powerful sword of spiritual wisdom. I have cut down the fortress of duality and doubt, attachment, greed, and egotism. The name of the Lord abides within my mind. I contemplate the word of the Guru's hymn. So cutting away at evil, cutting away at doubt. So the kirpan represents a struggle of good over evil, wisdom over ignorance. It represents selflessness and worn as a religious symbol, but not as a weapon. So this is a religious symbol, not as a weapon, although there might be need to wear the weapon, to use the weapon to defend the innocent. Now, in modern times, Sikhs will often just wear a plastic version of it as a necklace underneath their clothes. Next, we have the kara. This is the steel or iron bracelet. It's an eternal reminder of God, a reminder of self-discipline, and it's worn by both men and women. And our 5th K, this is the kutch or kacha. These are shorts or undergarments, symbol of modesty, of purity, and also mobility. These are to be worn by soldiers and said to be easy to move around in these garments. All right, so we're going to end well, we're going to take a look here at the 5 Ks. We have the untrimmed hair. We have the kanga, the comb. We have the kirpan, the sword, the iron bracelets, the baggy shorts, and then the turban. This is the Sikh attire for those who have been initiated into the Khalsa. This is the main symbol of of the Khalsa, and this is a flag. And the flag has, this is the Khanda. This is the sword in the middle with two smaller swords and a circular sword in the middle. Now the Khanda has different interpretations, but the chakra means that God goes on forever. The two smaller swords symbolize truth and being brave and courageous in the name of one's religion. And the central khanda, the central sword, symbolizes God's eternal power and standing up for the divine and the rights for all humans under the divine. Okay, so that will conclude our lecture. In the coming weeks, I'll be giving you some information about the final exam, and we'll also have some final exam review assignments. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and stay tuned.